Hey guys, welcome back. So this is going to be step 12 of our configuration. We are specifically now looking at the CIS benchmarks we imported. Specifically, we're looking at the areas here under our local security, local policies and user right assignment, which is where you will see things like add your domain admins, add your enterprise admins, built-in groups and guests. And this is to deny running services, deny logging in local, deny logging in through remote desktop services or terminal services. Now realize that in order to allow access to those things under CIS benchmark requirements and NIST, you would have to create yourself with security groups. Those security groups would have access. You wouldn't have admin access, so you're not part of a domain admin account in order to access those things. Because if you are, then you won't be able to access them. The domain admin and the enterprise admin account in the later versions of Windows and security is the controls are set to not allow domain admins and enterprise admins keys to the castle. Those are designed for secondary options or secondary security groups. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually create some stuff here. We're going to jump into Active Directory. And for the sake of this, I created enterprise access groups and enterprise access users. And then I created myself under the enterprise access groups, company-wide root, desktop admins, domain controller admins, enterprise desktop admins, enterprise server admins, and member server admins. And then in my description, I have specifically what I do. So my company-wide root has full admin access to everything. Desktop, servers, domain controllers, everything. Just like a domain admin would have currently. My desktop admins only have access to the desktops. They don't have any access to any of the servers. My domain controller admins only have access to the domain controllers. They don't have access to the member servers. They don't have access to the desktops. My enterprise desktop admins have access to Active Directory for the remote server administrative tools, and then also have access into the desktops themselves as admins, but they don't have full access into the domain controller as like a remote user. Then I have my enterprise server admins. My enterprise server admins have access to both my domain controllers and my member servers, but don't have access to the desktops. And then my member server admins have access to the member servers, but not the domain controllers or the desktops. So I would just create some groups for yourself. Try to mimic the same kind of protocol where you have access to one but not the other, and then maybe an account that has access to everything. And then go under your enterprise users, create an admins OU, and then give yourself a user, an admin user that you're going to create that would be like your domain admin account in this series of configuration. Just make sure that after you create this account that you go back in here and you go into your company-wide root, go to your members and add your account, because if not, you won't have access into anything after you set this up. So once this is done, we're going to jump back over into group policy. We're going to right click and we're going to choose new, and we're going to call the group policy underscore member server admins. So now we have the member server admins group policy object we just created. We're going to right click on that thing. We're going to go to group policy status or GPO status and go to user configuration settings disabled. So that should show now as disabled. Once that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to right click on this thing and we're going to go to edit. And then under computer configuration, under policies, under Windows settings, under security settings, and under restricted groups, this is where we should end up here. So you should see nothing on the right hand side. We're going to right click on restricted groups and go add group. Now if we dip back here to where our actual security groups are listed and we add that group, we're going to browse. We know that this is for our member server, so if we do member server admins and we check name, this will find that group. We're going to click OK and then click OK again. It's going to open up a secondary box. Here what we're going to do is we're going to add this group into the local administrators of whatever we're applying this policy to. So to do that, we just hit add, browse, type in administrators, and click on check name. All right, so now we have administrators. We click OK, and we click OK. We can see this group is a member of administrators. So we click OK again, and there we go. The member server admins is now a part of the administrators group. So now if I take this this group policy object that we just created and we go back to group policy, we have to refresh so we can show the policy, and there we go. If I take this and I apply this to my member servers, that means that I now have delegated access to those member servers as the accounts that I add to that security group. Those users don't need to be part of the domain admins group. They don't need to be part of the enterprise admins group, but they would still have administrative access to the servers as if they were domain admins. Now, this is how you circumvent the changes that are required for NIST. So no longer having the ability for enterprise admins, no longer having the ability for domain admins. This will also give you the ability to finite configure your backups. So you don't have to give full administrative access to your backups. So you like run like Veeam, for instance. Veeam requires admin access, but you don't need admin access, because if you follow these delegated access controls, you could give your backups delegated access to run on the particular servers that you want them to run on, without giving them the ability to run additional processes or setups or configuration on your actual servers. In which case, I would tell you to create another group and call it like Veeam admins. Drop your Veeam admin account into that, add it into your administrators group, and then only apply that to the servers that the Veeam service needs to run on, that needs to back up, that needs admin access onto those systems. And then if you have file server configurations also, you could add that group to your file share and your file server security groups. And at that point, that Veeam account would have ability to run your backups on those individual accounts using that delegated access control without having full access. So if you got hit with ransomware, or somebody actually gets access into the server and they don't know that the domain admin group doesn't have access into these things, you really stop their ability in their tracks from doing anything. And that's what this is designed to do. So once you have this stuff done, where you've added your member server, your company-wide server, your services, all the other groups into your Active Directory group policy objects. So in other words, once you create all your group policy objects and they're associated to a one-by-one group, then you can start applying those things to your individual OU structure as to how you want to lock down your systems. Once you have all of that stuff done, that's when you dip back in here and you go into computer configurations and you modify these security groups for your enterprise admins group or for your domain admins group. And you're going to have to do the same thing on the 10, 11, and I believe it also exists inside of your server configuration. So your Windows 2019 server configuration will also have your additional configurations that need to be added in here. Once you have that stuff done and it's applied and you go through these things and you make those changes, then really it doesn't work any different as if you were in the original domain admin's location. If anything, what it does is it just makes you more secure and really helps you push along. Now, in the event that you don't want to do this and you want to use the original domain admins groups and the original enterprise admins groups, check the next video. I will go through how to do this configuration without all these security changes. But for those that are interested in security, this is a great step into locking down your Windows operating system. Like and subscribe for more videos. Hopefully this helps you guys out. You guys take it easy.